I'm going to explore body geometry with all sorts of different props. It's not just going to be poi. However, poi to me is the hardest one to get body geometry with because so much of it is drawing. And don't get me wrong, you get beautiful points, right? With the poi, with the hands and the arms, they draw on a grid very well, but it's a circular grid, and if you stick to it too much, no matter how clean it looks, I feel like it doesn't give me what I want, which is speed control, variation, and posing. And posing is where this is really going to come together as far as what I've discovered with poi so far. So when I first started spinning poi, one of the first manipulations that I did, was I think a lot of people have seen this sort of thing right here. Just this guy and this guy, and I don't know, exaggeration. And my favorite bit that I found, I think, over time was with spin optics, especially in a lit up tether, creating an illusion using, or at least engaging the hand and handle in a motion and in geometry. Now, this puts you in a good position to pose. If I had different length poi, this would be a much more properly gridded position, just ever so slightly, brought out to here. And I'd like to point out that in these poses I'm going to do, a lot of times I'm actually going to switch into this grip so that I have my hands with which to grab. And the other thing that's going to happen is I'll get a lot of these loose tether catches, which, they're going to wobble. And over time, I'd like to eliminate that as much as possible. So the first within spinning bit that I found like this was when I was doing stall chasers and the up-down stall in general. I saw that there was a really good opportunity to switch to a hand to poi relationship instead of your typical stall chaser. And isolations in general. I've always been massively fascinated by hand poi relationships. And from this stall, instead of doing a chaser, I ended up catching. And now I have speed control over that stall chaser. It's going to add musicality. It's going to add danceability. This also is really useful just as far as dancey sort of work goes. Right? And so today, sort of started exploring all the different places I could catch in this in this grip or one similar to it. Two transitions that I know exist from here that I haven't gotten to play with as much as I might like. Spiral wraps. Anywhere you're doing these stalls, you should be able to do a spiral wrap. And if I was really good at them, you get into tangles.